The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Become a David Pakman Show member today. You'll get access to the podcast commercial-free, 4 bonus shows a week, as well as an archive of shows that dates all the way back to the very beginning of it all, Lewis, August of 2005.
When you did, when you were just reading news off a printout, right?
Off of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
It was disappointing. Somebody emailed me, actually, I've mentioned one person did, but now a bunch of people have been emailing me saying they've been listening to the August and September of 2005 shows, and that they said it's a good thing they're more familiar with the show now, because if it was based on that, they would never even be paying attention to the show.
Right.
Interesting stuff. Okay, the Georgia Republican Party wants to force women to carry dead babies. This is a strange story. Republican Georgia State Rep Terry England. You know, honestly, do I even have to mention that it's the Republican Party that's proposing this?
Well,
I guess in the interest
we'll just cover our bases.
Yeah, in the interest of accuracy, I'll mention it. But I don't have to mention that, obviously. Republican Terry England says his experience with cows, pigs, and chickens has proven to him that women should be forced to have their babies after 20 weeks of pregnancy. This is really weird. Let me pull up the video. And this is just very, very strange stuff. Let's see if we can get this going. Here it is.
Gives us the experience, or I've had the experience of delivering calves, dead and alive, delivering pigs, dead and alive. And I want to tell you, Representative McCall, Representative Roberts,
right,
all of us, Representative Anderson, that have done that, Representative Black, that have done that, it breaks our hearts to see those animals not make it. You know, a few years ago, I had a young man come to me at our store, and it was when we were debating, talking about dog and hog hunting, I believe, and at that point there was some language inserted in there that dealt with chicken fighting. And the young man called me to the side and he said, I want to tell you one thing. And y'all, this is salt of the earth people I'm talking about. Someone I would have never in 100 years expected to tell me what he told me that day. He said, Mr. Terry, I want to tell you something. You tell those folks down there when they quit killing babies, they can have every chicken I've got.
Okay. I think the most relevant question is, when was Terry England most recently scheduled for a CAT scan, and what were the results of that scan? That's really the main question that comes to me from watching that clip.
Is he currently medicated?
He's basically comparing women to cows and chickens, is essentially what we're talking about here. This is a debate over Georgia House Bill 954.
By the same logic, he'd be qualified to deliver babies.
Hey, that's exactly right.
Right?
Hey, listen.
Hey, if this doesn't work out, if he doesn't get reelected, he can just become a doctor.
Yeah, he's kind of an OBGYN in the sense that he once delivered a chicken.
Right.
This is all about Georgia House Bill 954. Okay, this would ban abortions after 20 weeks, even if the baby is not expected to live, Lewis. And of course, recalling his time with livestock gives him the proper context and perspective to say, hey, if you've got a baby that is not going to live, after 20 weeks, no abortion, you've got to carry that baby.
Yeah. Pretty disgusting.
Yeah, opponents have said that the so-called fetal pain bill would force women to carry stillborn fetuses or to have a C-section. Doctors could face 10 years in prison if they're involved in illegal abortions. This easily passed, 102 to 65, Lewis. And the comparison of women to livestock, I mean, we're reverting further and further back here to primal, tribalistic, and barbaric origins. And people continue voting for these people. It baffles the thinking mind. And I think that's the issue. There's no thinking going on when these things are proposed.
Very little.
If we're saying a guy who has experience delivering chickens is therefore going to make that comparison when we're talking about women's lives.
And that this man is a state representative.
I'm surprised, honestly, that American right-wingers have not yet openly issued death threats to women who just refuse to be treated as children, slaves, or inferiors. I mean, given the venom with which the right is slamming that woman that Rush Limbaugh called a slut and a prostitute, Sandra Fluke, I'm surprised we're not already seeing death threats issued straight up to women.
Maybe we're just not seeing them.
Maybe they're not being reported.
Yeah, who knows?
by the conservative media.
Yeah.